Hi, welcome to my channel. I am Divine Empress, and I want to, I want to talk about something. It's like a reflection, but anyways, so I absolutely my favorite YouTubers for a very long time has been Aisha Haroon. Her channel used to be Aisha Abdul, I think, if I'm remembering correctly, and only one Jess, um, Jessica Wallace. She's now Mrs. Wallace. But yeah, anyways, the reason why I talk about them is because I've I got to a point where I was reflecting. I watched a video actually on Aisha Haroon's channel, and it was the collab. It was about the collab that she had, the launch, collaboration that she had with, I think, Ami Kule. I might not be pronouncing that correctly, but anyways, the beauty of that thing was seeing like women supporting each other, because at that event she also had the representatives of the brand speak, and it was seeing women supporting each other. It was also seeing black women supporting one another. And one of the things that the brand representative, I think it was even the owner or something like that, the person, let me say, for the sake of just doing this video right now, um, she said something like her intention for being there was also so that she could help people, like herself. She's in positions to be of service to those who might be overlooked, basically. And another thing that I watched another video of Aisha, I think she was going to the fashion week in New York, and there were some brands that didn't want to work with her or something like that. But in that video also, she was grateful because she felt like things happened the way they were meant for her. Of course, there could have been reasons. She was very positive about the whole thing. And when I think of her, I think of like, she's the type of person that represents a lot of things. For one, she's in the category of being a woman. Two, she's a melanated woman. Three, she's a Muslim woman. So, in today's society, all of these labels basically is not something that's been easy. And she's been in an industry that would rather, for a long time, would rather promote anything but her, basically. There's layers to her. And she's been in this journey for like a decade. And similar to Jess as well. I think Jess is close to a decade too. And she's still there. She's still thriving. She's pushed through, and she became an inspiration for all of these people, for all of that relate to the labels that she have. She's been a representative, a great representative for Muslims, for Black women, and for women in general. Honestly, even women her size. You know, I'm only saying her size to because of how society has viewed. Um, how society has been representing beauty in a way that is not realistic. There's people like me, there's people like her, there's people like you. That's reality. We're all different. And we should all be represented. But that has not been the case. And she's been one of those people who has been playing that role, filling that shoes, being used, to be a representative for those who were underrepresented, basically. And I think that she's been doing a great job at it. And I think that Jess as well has been doing a great job. And one of the interesting thing, they're both of two different faiths. Jess is Christian and Aisha is Muslim. But they both, I feel like they've been trying their best with living life and showing life in a way that is authentic, is inspirational, but in a realistic sense. And I when I watch Jess, I'm like, her competitive advantage, her strongest suit is her personality, the way she's like, her realness, just the way she is. She's just naturally funny and all of that. I say this to say that, I've talked about this in this channel, how like you never know who you can inspire with your journey. Like people, like we see people like them and we're like, oh my God, they're so this and this and that. We think all these incredible things about them. But if you really listen to their story, how they started, they didn't know they were going to get this far. They didn't know they were going to become this influential. And they're still dealing with things in these industries because there's still things to be worked, to, to, to work through. They've been in this industry for a very long time doing great things, but there are people who, has been elevated above them, and other people who have had opportunities earlier than them. They some people who have probably maybe had it a little easier than them because of who they are and who they represent, because maybe they're trying to, because they're different, and the story and the purpose that they have with the in the platforms that they have been given has been different from what you would say, quote unquote, is popular or would be accepted, because they are people of faith. They are people who are really like just bringing something positive by just being themselves, you know, and they have like all these years. Yes, there's been growth and change. You can see it, but you can still feel they've been themselves, and as if you've been part of their journeys for a very long time, you can see the growth, but you feel like they've been themselves all this while. And it's like you've been watching them grow, see, watching them grow as people in their business and stuff like that. It hasn't been easy, probably for them, and it still doesn't seem easy, but they stuck it out and they are where they are now. And this is not something that is impossible for any of us. It just reminded me how important it is to not underestimate our journey, and just to do the things that we feel inspired to do, because you never know where it's going to take you. And the other part that I was saying, the brand representative, the way she talked about, like, from what I remember, at least this is what she talked about. You can find the video for yourself and watch it, and maybe it can speak to you. But to me, what if you feel led, of course, it's not forcing or promoting anything. I'm just speaking because this is what I feel like the message is right now. But yeah, the way she spoke about, like, she was the one, she was placed in that position to be there for people like Aisha. The people that deserve more, but there's others who don't want to give them what they are worth, don't want to recognize their worth, don't want to allow them to shine. And this is one of the reasons why it's so important for especially the melanated people to have our own things. Because a lot of times, I've said this before too, don't expect other people to make room for you in their homes. See, it took another melanated woman to open the door for another. And this goes beyond melanin. It goes beyond skin. There's a lot of people of different backgrounds that have the potential and the capacity to do more. But because of these people that want to have a certain agenda and want to stick with certain stereotypes, you know, and certain agendas, they're not going to allow those who truly have the heart to bring the positive changes into certain industries and spaces to shine. And for as long as they're the ones in control, they're the ones providing, they're going to keep doing that. So we need more good people. We need more godly people. We need more beings of light infiltrating these spaces, creating things, so that all of us can so we can have space and make space for those who truly should be in these spaces, so they can bring their creativity, their knowledge that will actually heal and inspire people positively. I wrote down, one of my notes is that Even if you don't want to fulfill your dream, it's not going to go away from you. It's going to keep coming at you like an itch you cannot scratch. Because running away from it is like running away from who you are. And that can't be. The other thing about them is how they really stood by their faith. Like Aisha started this journey as a Muslim woman. You can clearly see she's been wearing her hijab, and the way she presents herself has always been that. You can tell without even her speaking, you can tell who she is. You get the aura, the idea. And Jess has been doing the same thing in her channel as well. They stood by their faith, they stood by what they believed in, and regardless of the struggles that they probably have gone through and have gone through because of who they are and whose they are and what they represent, they've probably had opportunities taken away from them because like people who didn't want to hear about God, or people who didn't want to work with those who are like them, you know? But they stood by it and they're done, and they kept putting in the work. And I find that very inspiring. And I think that is something that all of us could learn from. I didn't say this to say that they are perfect human beings or anything like that. No. I'm just reflecting based on what I've noticed about them based on what they have shared online, that is. Because, of course, I don't know either one of them personally, and I'm not claiming to. But I'm like, sometimes it's good for us to highlight the good that we see in people, and we need more of that. And they inspire me, and hopefully what I shared over here about them inspires you. But as always, make sure to ask for confirmations if any messages are for you, including this. Remember, it is up to you, to receive what you want to receive and how you want to go about the things that you hear in the messages. And also remember that don't just listen, but try to reflect in your own life and see where the message might apply. And also try to make changes accordingly so that you can actually benefit from the knowledge, the messages that come to you. Because if you're not taking action with it, then it's just like entering one ear and out the other. It's almost like motivation that just lasts for 5 seconds. You want to make changes, you want to progress in life, then take you have to be proactive and take action that will actually ensure that you do that. These messages are never coming to you just for no reason, for you to just hear it and not act. And of course, everything that I've said is first and foremost for me because I'm also a student of life, a work in progress. I also need to hear these messages, and I also need to reflect and do what I'm suggesting you do as well. Anyways, as always, peace, love, and light. Remember, you are always divinely protected, divinely guided, divinely supported in every way, shape, and form, and you can do it. Peace, love, and light. Yay.